On to Holland and happy, hippie Zandvoort. Avoiding the traffic jams, some came to the circuit on foot. Some approached by sea. Zandvoort can be a windy place, but the local drivers have adapted to the conditions. Race day was fine enough for Renault's LaRousse to wear shades. Rosberg was breathing fire as usual. To cool him down, the Williams engineers installed a cold drink system in his car so that he could suck juice through his helmet. Mansell had just been told that the Williams team would have a drink button for him next year too. Rosberg was reported to be less than crazy about this prospect, but the talking point receded into the background as they revved up for the start. Prost was on the pole, then Piquet, De Angelis, Warwick, Tambay and Lauda. Piquet had his usual clutch lag but still led away. Tambay charged forwards, Lauda went backwards, so as they headed off into the dunes, it was Piquet, Prost, Tambay, De Angelis, Warwick, Rosberg, Lafitte and Alboreto. Piquet was on soft tyres and couldn't be caught. Prost, more conservative as usual, was on hard tyres and had to pedal to keep up at all. The great thing about Zandvoort is that the cars can get past each other in a corner even after 200-mile-an-hour straight, so quite frequently they look as if they're racing. The Chaserus, of course, is always racing, whatever the circumstances, so Cheever was perhaps not all that surprised to find himself nudged onto the grass. Piquet and Prost were way out in front, but Lauda moved up past De Angelis. Then Lauda went past Tambay into fourth place behind Rosberg. Piquet hadn't blown a turbo, it only looked that way. What he had was an oil leak. Piquet's season was going up in smoke. Rosberg had done wonders, but Lauda had the wheels. Piquet walked home without obvious rancor, a graceful loser whose growing self-control makes him ever more formidable. Tambay lapped the ATS of Winkelhock, who Winkel locked up a back wheel in surprise, and so induced a certain amount of understandable trepidation in De Angelis. Theo Fabi in the other Brabham was moving up aggressively when he spun at Tarzan, but he kept the motor turning and drove on towards a fine fifth place. Boots and Arrows, on the other hand, found it hard to go on in this condition. The frustrated Cheever also packed it in. So Prost came home with his fourth Grand Prix win of the year. But Lauda was second, so he was still marginally ahead in championship points. Rosberg had gone out with fuel famine, but Mansell well deserved his third place. And up there too, looking as enchanting as ever, was Monsieur Balestre. De Angelis was still theoretically in the championship, but in fact it was now between the two McLaren drivers. So McLarens couldn't lose, and indeed the Constructors' Championship was now officially all theirs.